So good morning everyone. So today I'm going to teach you about uh, food safety and food quality. So in our daily life, we all eat food, and eating healthy food is very important for our health and for our children health and family health. Next slide. So first we will start with knowing what is food safety. So food safety is the assurance where we can say that whatever the food we are producing in our food industry, that will be safe during consumption, when the consumer or when we eat it, and it will not cause any harm to us. So food safety, this is food safety, and this is responsibility.
Cat food is good or open.
So I will come to this later. So the food safety is everyone's responsibility, whether it is producer or it is a consumer. Okay. So why we have to practice food safety in our food safety, and why it is important. So if you do not practice food safety in any of the food industry or in your home, you will lose your customer. This is related to the business. You will lose your sales as well. Then you will lose your prestige and reputation in the market, and there will be huge embarrassment. One have to face a lot of embarrassment, because many of the customer, they would start throwing stones and rotten eggs on you over emails and calls, so that this is the quality of your
Maggie
food.
sale will drop.
Yes, Maggie was the case when when the authorities found.
You can say this happened with Maggie.
This already happened with
Already
Maggie.
happened with Maggie.
That case was because it was highly contaminated with heavy metal known as one of the heavy metal,
Mercury.
lead.
Lead.
So lead content was very high in that Maggie, and this
What is lead?
Lead, mercury.
Lead,
Sorry,
pencil.
lead. No, this is not pencil. Lead is this is a heavy metal. So though pencil
Also has some part of it.
that is graphite.
Graphite.
Yes. So heavy metal, जो आपका the heavy, there are many type of heavy metals. I will also come on that as well. So they are cancerous. So that's why they have to recall. They have had to recall their entire stock of that lot from the market.
Line with you, and today I heard from somewhere whatever shampoo you wash your hair, and they are also harmful as a for a skin cancer.
Yeah.
Yes,
They have chemicals,
they have some chemicals.
There's a
So, which
that is already banned in US and some part of Canada also.
So by applying shampoo daily on your head, on your hair, so there are chances that some of the traces they get absorbed by our skin, and at later stage they may lead to cancer as well.
And ma'am, sorry, we use soap in India, but normally in outside
Soap.
But outside Europe or US, I don't think so. Nobody can use the soap.
They don't use soap. They use
They use only
body lotion.
Body lotion. They never use a hard, solid.
Because the soap contains harsh chemicals, and a lot of.
But in India,
a lot of caustic is also
traditional
there.
way was best. You know, gram flour. Gram is like basin. Gram is like
Basin and some the multani mitti, that is also beneficial for our skin.
that is traditionally brewed.
Traditionally, it was being used by our ancestors, you can say.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
how our food gets contaminated? So I'll teach about contamination. So contamination in Hindi, it is.
I will
it is
teach
dushit.
you. I will tell about.
I will tell about food contamination. In Hindi, it is contamination means दूषित करना, right? So and where does it come from? So कहाँ से आता है? So any substance. What is contamination? Or we can also call it hazard. hazard. So any substance which gets added into the food during any step, whether it is in the production phase or it is in the supply chain, like during growing, transport, storage, processing, and treatment and preparation in the home.
You are saying
So
that
these
is
are
the
the
first
mode.
stage.
These are the mode from where the food gets contamination.
That is the first stage.
Yes, this is the first stage. Vehicle emission. From
Vehicle
vehicle emission, there are a lot of heavy metals, carbon, phosphorus, sulfur is there, and industrial effluents are there.
No,
like agricultural practices.
industrial emission
Emission.
I align, and I also align for landfills. But vehicle emission,
That
I'm
was
not
a
talking about
harmful-
national.
harmful
I know that is harmful, ma'am, but in
But the plants they take, no, they take, what do the plants take? What do the plants take? They inhale carbon dioxide and so when they inhale that, they inhale all these harmful substances, it will come
that-
home. The
that's
plant will
why-
have it, that we are taking.
So that's why nowadays we are everyone in the world, they are thinking about carbon reduction, carbon neutrality. So this is related to the vehicle emission, industrial emissions. So because the vehicle emission, there are a lot of
vehicle emission, you are saying about CO2, carbon.
CO2, yes, exactly.
So
carbon is there.
we are moving for in a vehicle industry. We are moving to gas, CNG gas, and electric car. It will help us. It will help
Reducing.
us reducing or
Reducing those emission.
they will also raise carbon emission.
So definitely the carbon emission
By petrol-
that would be reduced by some extent, but not zero. But we have taken initiatives that by 2030 or 2035 or 40 we will come to carbon zero.
How it is
So
possible?
there are technologies. Technologies
My
are working.
point is this: right now we are using 90% of the cars, 90% of the vehicles using petrol and diesel. 90%. Only 10% consume
They have,
CNG,
electricity and, natural
Maybe
gas.
2% right now 2% electricity car, because from the last 2 years electric car introduced.
Mhm.
Last 2 or maybe more than maybe around 3 years.
3 years
3
maximum.
years. So 2% of electric car and 8% of CNG and 90% of petrol and diesel vehicles. So if we so we change the status. If we use 90% of electric and CNG and 10% of petrol and diesel car, then it will help us to
Reduce.
how much reduce?
Will it help us?
Will it help us?
This will help us not immediately, but definitely in future. So
Same. Everyone knows Delhi CM said Haryana and Punjab smoked
Burn this
burn
crop.
the crop wastage of crop. This will impact a huge CO2 and this will create a huge CO2.
The carbon emission, that is all carbon emission
So
adding to
this
carbon.
depends on how the public and how the society is aware about the implication of these emissions and their wrong effect on our body and surrounding environment as well. So everyone has to be
That's why
aware.
the disease related to lungs increases more, and the disease which is related to
Yeah, that is why.
oxygen.
Yeah, urban areas people are more unhealthy.
Urban peoples are more unhealthy. 80% people daily takes a medicine, whatever takes BP, sugar,
Some medicine or the other.
Mhm.
We take some medicine or the other.
some medicine.
So shall we move?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
So the contamination can also come from livestock, means animals. Crop.
Animals.
So I think this
Animals-
means that
animals are
this
also-
affects
This
the crop,
affect-
livestock
yes.
and seafood. This kind of
Yes, because they are the primary consumers. Because if your field get contaminated, that would be taken by livestock or the sea animals.
Okay,
or
you are
fish.
saying if we drink milk, that is also contaminated.
That's
Yeah.
chances
Because
yes,
they
high chances are there that may be contaminated.
and
So that-
when we boil milk or boil vegetables, I think 90% of the
See,
contamination.
Only the microbes.
we already know that in Punjab one area is they use so much of chemicals to increase their crop, and finally that area is so many people are infested with cancer. You know that? You already know that.
I
Because
saw a
this
movie.
has happened because of chemicals. Fertilizers is about chemicals and all that crop.
That's why our company grow
Organic foods.
because our company depends
Ah.
on organic, and that's why our company increases as like that.
People are see that is what is happening. No, in this one entire train from Punjab going to somewhere in Rajasthan for treatment of cancer. The entire belt people are affected with cancer because of these fertilizers. So chemicals are definitely harmful for people, for plants. Plants they grow that we are eating, cattle is eating.
Yes.
So milk is also not good, and food is also that we eating is contaminated. That's it.
Even in rural areas, also
Increasing
increasing
crop,
the crop, they are using
They use,
multi-type of
and this is actually that is why our natural farming is very important. We were all doing natural
Yes,
farming.
correct.
In India we were doing natural farming. What we used to use? We used to use the
cow
waste
cow
cow
dung,
dung.
cow
We used to
dung.
use that is the best and that is not harmful. But actually this fertilizers
Every
and all.
house has a separate place
Yeah.
for cow dung.
Cow dung,
Yes.
And they use in
Yeah,
in
this
in-
fertilizer thing came this Europe and British they dumped their chemicals in India as fertilizers because they had to sell. They had to sell. After this World War, what we do with all the chemicals? So they decided, to fool the Indians basically. They started making fertilizer, very good for your crops and all that. And it started only in the 50s and all that.
Yes.
Started after World War II. It started. They wanted to, promote.
Same
promote their sale.
same thing. China.
Now there
China.
is-
How China will provide us the cheapest thing, plastic cheapest thing, because they consume its plastic
Their
waste,
plastic waste.
their plastic waste to somewhere. They plastic waste because China has a large population and they have a large dump of plastic, and they don't want to consume inside. They made it some
They recycle and again.
recycle and sales in India in a cheapest price. Every product of China made by the plastic. 90%
Waste plastic.
Not waste plastic.
You can say third grade plastic.
Okay.
So there are a lot of ways from where our food gets contaminated.
That's why I'm moving after 3 years. After 3 years, I have to resign this job and I move to hometown and
Okay. Next slide.
Very good, yes.
because when I live in my village, I live very energetic and I
Yes.
live the oxygen.
I feel very.
I feel very energetic. The oxygen is so pure. The food is so good. And everything is good. If you live, then everything is available. If you live today, I come lazy and feel depressed. That is not good.
Correct.
Average age is also goes down.
So next is the type of contamination which we study in any food science. So there are majorly 4 types of contamination which are known as physical contamination, then chemical, biological, and allergens. So physical contamination, which you any type of contaminant which you can feel by your hand, by touch.
What is
And
this? Mirror?
Glass. This is the glass. Glass is a physical contamination.
Glass? How glass?
That will cause internal injury. That will
I
cause
understand
internal
that
injury.
if glass will merge with any food product, then it will.
There are chances if
From
we are
here,
not
from here.
taking measures to control those
From
glasses.
there, it will contaminate.
इंडस्ट्री से आती हैं. So machine part, they can have the glass parts like acrylic fixtures and glass, like window glass can be, if it is broken, if it gets broken, that can be added into the product. So that's why in industry, all the glasses, they should have the lamination over them. So this is the glass.
That is the
policy.
mandatory part.
Yes, that is mandatory under
In
glass
food
policy.
industry, we have to
Every
laminate.
food industry, they apply lamination over all glasses which are nearby food
Production plant.
production plant. So this is mandatory, and there is also jewelry policy. You can never take your jewelry like rings, bracelet, and
That's why we wear cap and
you wear cap and
Cap for hair.
overcoat, shoe covers, hand gloves. So while entering inside the processing plant, so this is mandatory under the jewelry policy, and also the physical contamination may be due to these machine parts like nuts and
that
bolts.
is the line.
Yes.
So that is the line. That is
Yes, you might have also seen
But,
whenever we receive any complaint that we have found a nut or we have found a big bolt in your product,
Sometimes
and
it
we are
happens.
not receiving it. So sometimes we get such complaints.
But
So
in
that-
metal detector, we
yes, sometimes metal detector may fail. So that's why we have to keep our eyes open, and we have to keep our machines and all control measures in
I
practice.
have a point. In 1000 kg big bed, if there is a single bolt, your eyes
It
will
will
see.
come
So
to
That's why we have installed the sieves as well. जो जाली
Sieves,
होती है,
okay,
yes,
sieves.
जाली. So
Yeah,
if that jali, if that sieve is also broken, there are chances that nut and bolt may pass through that. And chemical contamination, then sometimes laboratory chemicals may get exerted, that may get absorbed by the food, and some pesticides that you see the person is
Pesticides are very,
applying
very harmful.
pesticides.
Pesticides and chemicals, fertilizers
Yes.
are very harmful.
Pesticide is the type of
we
chemical.
we are facing lots of challenge related to all food.
Of
So
course,
then,
of course.
for your knowledge, there are more than 600 pesticides nowadays.
Because after some time, one crop will become resistant to that pesticide. It will not work. So they have to change it. They
We
have
are
to make
not well, in India. We are we are not able to produce organic. We are not able to produce organic material. Organic.
No, there are people doing it. Now
No,
people
we are aware, ma'am. We have 70,000 people who are doing
Farmers.
organic farming.
Ah.
We are aware because we are belong to the organic
Industry.
company, the organic industry. But when we take test, when we take quality test, then we will find many times
fine.
we find chemical in
Chemicals. So that is not due to
Many
that is
times.
not due to the
After
active use
processing we will
of.
find this. After processing we will find this, but in the RM raw material we will find this on paddy.
So then what do you do?
See.
Then what do you do?
See, I am having
Treatment.
See, I am having a organic land like this table. This is the organic land, but unfortunately this land is not organic. So he is applying the pesticide, and through the air wind, so that pesticides they are coming towards my
Absorbed
land.
by this
So
plant.
that is absorbed by the plant, and many times that some of the traces they are found in that organic stuff.
Traces of chemicals.
Yes. And one of the other categories, heavy metals, which I was talking. So the four, there are a lot of heavy metals, but we target on the lead, cadmium, mercury, and arsenic.
All these we know it.
So these
Allergen,
biological, bacteria, virus,
you can tell
fungus.
us biological contamination.
So these are biological and allergens. There are also there are about 14 allergens which are described by USDA, United States Department of Agriculture. So they have defined 14 allergens. Out of those 14, these 8 are listed here, and other
If
you
we are a rice company, if in whole rice bag if there is 2 peanuts,
If there are 2 peanuts.
material is
so whole material will not get contaminated if those 2 peanuts they are sampled by the person or third party. from sampling. When we go to the third party sampling, if unfortunately those peanuts gets into his sample, and that is goes to laboratory, definitely it would get detected. So an entire lot that will be
How much type of reports you find out this contamination?
reports.
How much if you
In percentage, in terms of
in
percentage.
percentage, 2%, max to max means 2 reports out of 10.
Are rejected, huh?
2 reports out of 10 are have traces, not
It
exact,
means
but
20%,
have traces. It means
20%.
yes, 20%.
20% is quite
2
high.
out of 100, yes.
That's why I am saying ki we are regular chasing quantity.
So every
that's the highest selling.
every lot gets tested, whether it is coming from farm. When it is coming from farm to our factory, then it is getting tested. When it gets converted from raw material to FG, finished goods, then it is getting tested. When it is going to our buyer, then also it is getting tested. So at every
If we eat contaminated food, if we eat, then we get
previous go to previous slide. This is the next one, right?
That is the
Yes.
Ah.
So the
This will-
implication of
Effects-
eating contaminated
effect
food,
of.
you will get food poisoning first of all.
Okay.
Food poisoning is very dangerous. You will get
Why this one?
sick.
Fever, how? Fever.
Of course.
Fever is related to.
If your
If you
body
get
is
small
depleted,
amount.
the body is depleted of all the energy, automatically you will feel
Fever, upset stomach, diarrhea,
Yes.
vomiting.
So
Vomiting is a
I-
line, diarrhea is a line, upset stomach
This
is a
is
line.
all due to that
Fever.
guy.
Virus.
There is a one virus
Virus.
or bacteria, you can say.
bacteria.
So this will result into
Why is known as this?
No, virus. This is
One cell.
this is the demonstration how the virus
One
will
cell
look
of
like.
bacteria.
Many times I saw when around COVID, there are so many ads like this.
Yes.
So
That is the-
vi-
that is the
virus
real
is
picture under
virus is
microscope.
traveling on a bus and there is a huge crowd and somebody
Sneezes and they are coming out.
They move to another
Scattering
another-
everywhere.
Ah.
What is this
So,
allergic
allergen, so allergic reactions like
Allergy.
if you are sensitive to say soy,
Pollen dust.
soy or
Some
pollen
people,
dust
हाँ,
also.
pollen dust.
Pollen dust में जो वो फूल
dust
फूल के ऊपर जो होते हैं ना pollen grains.
Ah.
Some people are also
Yes, some
allergic
people
to
are
those.
allergic. Some people are allergic to dust.
And that will result into appearance of some rashes.
Rashes.
Sometimes little on your body, and sometimes you will get red. And sometimes you will not
due to allergy, some people also die.
Yes,
Extreme case.
That's why
you will
doctor
get so
always
much.
ask
You will get so
Are you
much.
allergic?
Are you allergic?
Some medicine, some medicine, yes.
Are you allergic with some medicine? If you say no, nothing. If you say I am allergic, then the medicine name will change automatically by the doctor.
Yes.
No, and apart from this, nowadays they do blood test and check it for allergy
allergy,
before giving
yes.
any medicine. They also do that.
So one of the other implication is epidemic. So
okay.
epidemic,
Epidemic, pandemic, we all
Mahamari,
the
yes,
same.
Mahamari. Pandemic is worldwide, but the epidemic is when the
Local.
people are suffering from one kind of disease at the same time. This is
like last time
dengue, yes. Dengue is also a
Chikungunya.
form of epidemic, chikungunya.
Okay.
Next I will tell you about the danger zone of the food. So this picture is demonstrating the safety of the food. So at what temperature the food is safe. So this is bacteria grow quickly in the red zone, 5 degrees Celsius to 60 degrees Celsius. This is our usual temperature.
You are saying if we eat cold food, frozen food, there is no bacteria?
See, the food science tells if the food is to be served as cold, so then it need to be stored as cold. If
we regularly drink juice.
yes,
Cold drink like cold drink.
And
Yes.
juice is always in the fridge.
yes.
When I go and take it out of the fridge because that is
You see, you get a Tetra pack. You get a Tetra pack from market.
We have a Tetra pack.
Instructions are always there. consume it within 24 hours, या consume it within 5 days. After opening, if you do not open it, then it is
There is a
safe
There is a
till the shelf life.
Yes, sir.
If you open it, then you have to immediately consume it, or you have to refrigerate it immediately. If you open that and keep outside, then definitely it will get contaminated and you will get the
What is the temperature of our fridge? What is it
to
normally?
ideally the normal the old refrigerator
10%.
they have 2 to 10,
2 to 10.
from 2 to 10, and the refrigerator part, the fridge part, it is under
The freezer.
below, the freezer is below 0 degree, 0 to -4. And nowadays there are new technologies where you will get up to 23 -23. So I have the refrigerator with the -23 degree Celsius. It is highly refrigerated.
There is a
So I can keep the frozen food.
One can regulate it.
One can
Yes,
regulate.
you can regulate
to more cold.
Because people are consuming frozen food nowadays. You get the
No, as
frozen
per you, as per quality parameter, if we eat, no, please understand my point. If we eat frozen food, then bacteria don't grow.
bacteria will grow only
When
if it
it
is
open.
if it the temperature gets disturbed. If the temperature is maintained from 0 to -18 degree, then the frozen food will not get contaminated. If the temperature, if let's say your refrigerator is not working and the temperature goes beyond 0 degree.
Because I want to, why I am asking again and again. Normally in Europe and normally in
Old countries.
90% of people, and you can't believe, they cook food on Saturday and Sunday and they eat rest 5 days. Working days they can't to cook food.
They don't have time.
So they refrigerate it.
They refrigerate it.
Yes.
They cook food to sabji and
They immediately
10 parathas or like that, and they freeze it.
Yes.
And when the next morning, Monday morning, weekdays, they get up and wash and take 2 parathas from this or some sabji and
Yes.
yes.
So they take only 2 paratha, means they want to eat 2 paratha, then they pull out only 2.
Yes.
If you pull whole quantity, then all there are chances that will be.
I understood. Yes.
So this is where the bacteria grows quickly. So this is the favorable temperature, you can say.
60 degrees,
Up to 60 degrees. And most favorable is 37 degrees. 37 degrees is the most favorable, where the
Normal temperature
bacteria
of our
grows
country-
faster.
Normal temperature
Yes.
of our country is between 30 to 40 degree. No?
Yes.
Normal temperature,
Yes.
average temperature between 30 to 40 degree.
That is why we should eat fresh food.
And above 30 and above 60 degree,
This
the
way
bacteria will not.
we have to cook
If you
food.
boil it, then it
This
will.
is the boiling temperature. you can
Supposing
say.
it is
boiling or
like-
hot temperature. Boiling.
So we have to boil the food and eat
Yes.
it and
So
then.
that's why the milk we get the milk, raw milk from the market or dudhiya, and we need to boil it immediately. Otherwise, it will get contaminated or it will increase the bacteria, the lactobacillus that will spoil your
Spoil our milk.
milk.
Oh, done?
Yes.